Hello, hello. This is a weird time for me to pop on, but here I am. I'm gonna plug my phone in. I don't know, it should be okay. I thought we could make a drop stitch scarf as best as I can show you with the equipment that I have. Why not make it live, right? Nope, I need to go this way a little bit. All right. Okay, so for anyone that comes in late or in the next few minutes or watches the replay, I don't have any Karen Simply Soft, but I happen to have some Big Twist Shine, which is essentially, in my mind, the same yarn. Well, maybe not the same yarn, but okay, it just keeps pulling, so I must be pulling from the center. Okay, why? I'm just gonna open this up. They are connected to each other. That's my issue. Hello, Michelle. We're gonna make a drop stitch scarf. I did not plan this out for people to come prepared, so and not everybody has a adding machine. So we're gonna make one of these drop stitch scarves. I'm going to be using this. I took the label off. It is called Big Twist Shine. And I'm using the colorway Denim. The Scorpion. The sweatshirt, maybe. Yes, I was. Or the scarf. Yes, yep. I made this yesterday. Yep. I got up this morning and recorded that video. I swear I just saw coffee go flinging, but I don't know. That was weird. It's my oversized sweatshirt. Because my husband, it's his sweatshirt actually, but I took it from him because he was gonna get rid of it, like donate it, and I was like, oh, I'll use it. So this is the scarf I made yesterday. It didn't turn out it turned out great, but it didn't turn out the same as what my other drop stitch scarves look like. So we'll show you the difference when we're done with this one. And I'm gonna make a smaller one this time. Hello, Ruth. Okay, so I'm trying to remember. I think, yeah, okay, so this is my waste yarn from yesterday. I'm gonna frog it out so that I can use it. And Marianne was making one of these possibly on her smaller Addy. I told her, she's like, a lot of people have the bigger Addies that make the drop stitch scarf. And I was like, ooh, yours would just make a skinnier one, so try it. I kind of want to see what it's going to look like. And then I was like, ooh, I could go live and make a drop stitch scarf. I may not have a whole lot of people here doing it with me, and I may not have a whole lot of people here watching. That's okay. That's what pop-ups are for. And I'm hoping this doesn't take me that long. All right, so this yarn, I believe, is Big Twist, just regular yarn, and it's a little bit thicker than this. And I was telling her, she was trying to find a similar weight yarn or thickness or whatever, and I was like, you really don't have to be too concerned about that because it's waste yarn. It's not going to be part of your project. So I am going to put this, cast this on my Addy. This one I don't need a very long tail, so I'm going to do about, ish right there. Well, first of all, I need to set there we go. Okay, so on my Addy, I have 3 black pegs, and they are right here. So what I'm going to do actually is snag this under the first black peg, and and let the tail hang down in the Addy machine. And then how you cast on is you go around the back of the second one, around the front of the third one, back behind the fourth, front of the fifth, and you just keep going back and front. You just zigzag in and out, so you're catching every other peg or tooth or whatever, pin, whatever you call these. So teeth, I don't know. So every other one. This is a 46 pin machine, so I snag the first one. I go underneath, go in front of, and then when I come back around, I should be coming around the back side of the 46th pin. So I got my first cast on there. Now I'm going to cast on, I think this is about 8 rounds or so, and then I'll reset my counter, and then I will put on my tension guide. For my waist yarn, I don't really care about the tension guide right now. I just let it kind of loosely go in and hold on to it and make sure there's no knots or tangles that try to get in there, and I just cast on my waist yarn until it's almost gone. So I gotta make sure I leave a tail about the same length as what I started with, about a 6-inch tail or so, maybe 6 or 8 inches. But a lot of the videos that I watch, hello Ravina. A lot of the videos that I watch, they recommend anywhere from 5 to 10 rounds of waist yarn, just to give you enough breathing room for when you are, finishing up your projects or whatever, so that you don't lose stitches and stuff. So there have been several times I've had to knit on my waist yarn because, I do drop stitches and stuff, but it's not a big deal with the waist yarn about the drop stitches, but I still try to use yarn that my Addy likes, and it seems to like Big Twist okay. Hello, beautiful people. I don't know what this started on, so I can sit here and count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 rounds on. Oh, and see, this one happens to have a knot, so I got to make sure that it gets in. There we go. In there. Make sure it gets through everything. No worries, Rebecca. This is a pop-up, and I'm showing how to make a drop stitch scarf. It's not going to be as pretty or as professionally done as all the other videos, but, we'll get there. All right, so I don't know how many rounds I have. Maybe almost 10. Me too. I'm working on a project too. I haven't tried a drop stitch scarf in this kind of yarn yet, but I keep using, this is Big Twist Shine. I think it is not necessarily the exact yarn that Caron Simply Soft uses, but however Caron Simply Soft, got their yarn to be there the way they did, is how this Big Twist Shine is. It's very similar to it. So it can also be used to make these drops. And these drop stitch scarves in the Caron Simply Soft and the Shine, they are so soft and amazing. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to make it around. Eek. Is it? Oh, just barely. Just barely, y'all. Oopsies. I should have stopped on the last round. Okay, Michelle, no worries. No worries. All right, so I'm going to get that one tucked down there. All right. This is how I do a color change. If you, Kimmy, you watch this, I basically took the yarn and you know, I laid my tail down in here like that between my last white peg and my first black one. And then I'm going to take a long tail, because I'm going to use this tail to sew or to grab all the stitches at the end when I'm done with knitting. I'm going to drop it down in there, and I'm actually going to come up between the black peg, the first black peg and the last white one, and feed it through my yarn guide after I get this on, because I have had good luck with this thing and I'm going to stick to using it. So the only downfall of doing this live is I get in a mode of knitting and not talking at the same time. Oh wait. I meant to put this on. Oh, hold on. I might have to frog this back off and start over. Which, oh well, happens, because I don't pay attention. Wait, no. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to remember how I did this yesterday, y'all. I've done this enough to where I can remember it, but I'm scrolling. I think because I'm live and it's flustering me or something. I don't know. Because I want the two, okay, so this is like a ripcord waist yarn right here. That's why it's so short. And you basically, once you have all the stitches sewn up or like gathered up, you can pull this out and you won't lose your stitches, and you can take all that waist yarn off. But I'm trying to remember if I put on, I think I should have put this on before my working yarn. So I'm going to frog it back off and get it back on here. So we'll just do that. It won't take me any time at all. It works fast. So I have to basically work it back off. And just like that, it's off. Okay. And this waist yarn is super easy to frog back off. And now I can remember not to miss, or not to, you know, do that last round like I did. All right, so I gotta cast it back on, catching the first one and every other one after that. So only thing is this waist yarn being still like this, it does kind of put a little tension on it. So I'm glad you guys are here working and lurking. I wish I had a conversation going right now. Because like I said, I literally sit in here and I don't really talk to myself too much. So doing this live will be interesting. I know I made, what was it I made on the Addy the other day? Oh, was I working on a panel? No, because I ran the Addy the other day, but I don't remember what it was. Because I was sitting here doing this. Oh, I know what it was. I did work on a panel for a little bit, I think. So anyway, is this something you guys enjoy? A live make along type of thing? Okay, gotta make sure I stopped in the middle of a cast on row, so hopefully I did this right, getting back on here. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys don't mind quiet, because sometimes I get to be, you know, a little quiet on here. Because it's hard to pay attention to this and the chat. I'm just going to reset this just to see. I mean, I've already done, I think this is round 2 or so. Oh, cool. Vivian. They're fun. I don't know. I guess I'm in an Addie mode right now because all I want to do is play with this thing right now and not crochet. But I don't necessarily need to crochet, but I want to crochet too. I just find myself spending most of my time doing this. So, Ruth, what are you working on? Did you say already? I'm sure you probably did and I just missed it. I'm sorry. Vivian, are you working on anything in particular? Yes, the other thing about this is because the projects work up so quickly on here, you get very quick satisfaction. Okay, good. Okay, where am I at here? Okay, I think one more round, and I have to make sure I don't go another one. You're making a boggy quilt. Cool. Vivian, I'm still on 36. Yeah. I dropped the ball on that blanket. I will get it done. I just won't get it done probably by the end of the challenge. So anyway, okay, here's my ripcord waste yarn, and you'll understand what I mean by that once I get to the end, when I'm like finishing up the scarf. So I dropped my old color down on the left side of the last white pin, between the first black pin and the last white one. I'm going to take my new yarn. This is just one short piece. I mean, it's maybe 2 or 3 feet long. I don't know. Cool. Yeah, you are, Vivian. You are ahead of both. Well, she dropped hers. So anyway, I'm going to put a short tail down in here between those 2 pegs that I dropped the old yarn in. And I'm going to do 1 round of this white yarn. And the one thing I forgot to mention is you want to make sure your waste yarn, this stands out from it. Like your working yarn stands out from your waste yarn. Otherwise, if you make it where you can't really tell the difference between one or the other, you're gonna have a harder time picking up the stitches. So I am gonna do the 1 round. I should have just enough to make it around 1 time, which I do. And I'm hearing very loud voices of children, so I'm hoping that they stay downstairs or get themselves lunch and leave me alone till I'm done with this. Okay, so I opened up my yarn guide, dropped my white down inside between those 2 pins that I told you about, the first black one and the last white one. Now Vivian, no, not every project, but the video that I watched to make these, she has not found a way to make the drop stitch scarf safely without using the waste yarn. And you'll find that with a lot of projects, to give yourself a cleaner edge when you're finishing off projects, waste yarn is going to be your best friend. So I need to take I keep going the wrong way, a long tail of this working yarn. I'm going to drop it down in here, and on my yarn guide, I have a hole early here that I feed my yarn up through, and I'm going to put my tensioner in here. And I'm going to Yeah, once it clicks over, I'm gonna restart my counter. And I'm gonna go 100 rows, 100 rounds before I stop. Now, I don't need to do waste yarn on the end of this scarf because I don't need it on the end, on the cast off end, but you do want it on the cast on end, the first end, this one here. So, all right, so I'm gonna get 100 rows done, and then we will. But I also new skein, I have to pull it out because it does, like I said, these tensioners or these adding machines or knitting machines, they don't like tension, too much tension. Now this tension guide, it gives it even consistent tension, not like hard tension. But you can crank it down, but I don't know how far you want to crank it down and, you know, what uses you would need to crank it down on. So, y'all, if you heard, I had to mute my mic for a few minutes ago because my youngest came in whining that he locked my computer because he got mad, and it requires me to go down there and unlock it with my password. So I told him, well, he has to wait till I'm done now. So, like my panels that I made for my blanket, Vivian, I didn't use waste yarn on those. I'm trying to think. Oh wait, no, I did use waste yarn, actually. Sorry, I used waste yarn at the beginning and end, so that way I got good clean edges. Never mind, I did use waste yarn on both ends of the panels, the tubes. So, yep, now I'm going to do 100 rows. So the one I showed you guys in my video, the rainbow one, it is 134 rows because the yarn I used, I was able to make a hat using those 134 rows. So I knew I could get 130 rows out of my yarn, and I was like, I didn't want to have scrap yarn left. Like all I had left after I made it was this little bit here, the tails that I cut off, and that was it. So I would rather waste that than having scrap yarn left over and trying to figure out what to make with that scrap yarn, which it would have left me with 30 rounds of scrap yarn that I would have had left over from the skein. So I just went ahead and made it an extra long infinity scarf. So you can not only double it up, but you can quadruple it up and make it nice and thick here if you're into the, you know, those kind of scarves, which I'm not. It may be one I give away to somebody. It may be one I sell. I would go to selling first just to see, you know, if I can make a little bit of something from it. Otherwise, if I can't, then I just give it away. Yeah. Yeah, Vivian, I'm definitely not doing a very good job at doing this as a tutorial right now, because the tutorials that you watch out there, they have, you know, overhead views of it, and you know, they speed it up and everything. Hello, Ellen. So I could do an actual tutorial, but I was just like, I want to go live and do it and just do like a make along live, you know. Except you get to see me and some of the work that I'm doing instead of just watching me do it, you know, just seeing the product. So I'm at 23 rounds. Hello, Kimberly. Anyway, I'm about a quarter of the way done. Oh, I don't, Vivian. It's just, I'm just saying, like, I don't know how well, you know, I should plan one of these. Maybe next week, give you guys like a week to go buy, you know, some yarn like this, either Karen Simply Soft or the Big Twist Shine or one similar in another brand. I don't know what other brands are similar to this. And maybe we can do like a, you know, well, you also have to have the knitting machine too, I guess. And there's not a lot of people that do. So, I don't know. That's why it's hard to schedule it and be like, hey, we're going to do this. I finally got to the point where I don't really have to pull out too much of the skein here. But it's still kind of sort of snaggy coming out of there, so I am pulling a little bit. I'm at 32 rounds. 33. Every time you hear that, here, I'll show you. Every time you hear that clunk, that's a round. And now we're on 34. That's still not wanting to pull out of there. You know what? I'm going to put it over here. It likes to come from over there. There we go. Now I can. Oh, goodness, Michelle. You don't have to lurk. You can take care of the baby and the toddler and your editing. There's always the replay. I also find using this tension guide, and now that I say this, I hope I don't jinx myself. When I first started making stuff on here, I was using weights on my projects to hold it down so it wouldn't drop stitches. So like one person recommended these little clips from the Dollar Tree. You literally just clip it onto the end of the work that's falling down into the tube, and it gives it just enough weight. You put it, you put them evenly spaced around, not all the ones, but like maybe 4 or so, just to give it enough weight to hold it, to keep it down. And then it's supposed to help. But with this tension guide, I have found that I haven't had to use that. Only time I was using it was like on my tubes. Like on this one, I have all this right here. I could wind up and like, make it a little less dangly and twirly and put this on it. But I have a bucket underneath here catching it, so that way it's not going into my carpet and getting knotted up in my carpet. We're at 40 rounds now, so I do use those, but because this isn't going to get terribly long, it will get a little long, but not nearly as long as the tubes that I made. The tubes I made were 220 rounds long. This one's going to be about just under half. So you could get to cranking on this thing. I look so funny in the video because you can't see me actually cranking, but you can see the thing moving. I have footsteps coming. I'm live. I don't know who it was. It was one of my older kids. So, Kimberly, I take lots of breaks with this. So like it does with these drop stitch scarves and beanies, you're cranking the whole time. And so, that's why I only whip out maybe 1 or 2 beanies a day or 1 scarf a day, because you're constantly, cranking the whole time, which I'm okay with. I'd rather do it this way and make sure I'm taking care of my machine. If your machine's lasting, with using your little electric screwdriver, by all means use it. I just am, I'm a lot like Kayla from Mama Kayla. I don't know, I'm leery of using anything to make it any faster. So, hold on. Okay. Yes, I think the power drill adapter is amazing looking. I don't know. I don't know. I'm leery of doing anything to my machine. This is not a cheap machine, y'all. Um, I'm pretty sure if I broke it, it would be a while before I could replace it. So, we're at 58. But like my 2 panels I made for my blanket, because I was color changing every 24 rounds, I was stopping just long enough for my arm to take a break. So I actually found myself whipping out a whole tube and being just fine. I was actually doing, there was one day I did 3 tubes because they went so quickly and I took breaks between the color changes. So, but like these, you're constantly the whole 100 rounds. So it's a little more tiring, which it's okay. I can handle it for a little while. So yeah, no, I watched Crystal at Bag O' Day Crochet. She used a drill on hers and it went so fast. I'm like, I don't know how, one, you didn't drop a stitch, or two, screw up the yarn or mess up the machine. And she still had, like, I don't think she's replaced anything on it. $136? That's awesome. Mine was about $40 more than that. Yeah, roughly. We're at 72. So almost done. And look, we're 30 minutes in. I had to frog it once already off of here, so I consider that success. Like, I only have 25 more rounds left. 24. So, yeah, Ellen, that's awesome. I'm watching the smaller one. Right now, the last I saw, it was like 13% off, and it was like 80 something, $82 or something like that. I'm waiting for it to drop a little bit more before I get that one. Yes, Kimberly, you do. It will use up a lot of it. You can turn them into beanies. Or make some blankets. Like, the blanket is so easy. I need to start recording. But I'm not going to make a blanket until probably next week or so. I see absolutely no light in front of my door. Why? Why are we in front of my door? Like, it is completely dark. But, like, normally I could see their feet, you know, and now I can't. 85. So I'm like, what have they got in front of my door? It's like a blanket or something. I don't know. Because I can't see any light now whatsoever. We are almost done. I'm getting close. Okay, this curly hair right here is, yes, I know, Marianne, we have flyaways, but you're not here, so it is driving me nutsy. Wait, hold on. Oh, jeez. Marianne, you don't need to go to 165 rows. You only need to go to 100 to make a drop stitch scarf. Because it'll still be just as long, it'll just be skinnier. 91. We're getting close. We're getting close to the end. Gonna whip these last few rounds out. Come on. I'm gonna go faster. Yeah, see, they go so fast. I'm not surprised that you were able to make that many in a week. You could do, yeah. That meant you did like 5 hats a day. Whew. roughly. 3 to 5 hats, depending on how long the week was or when you started it. All right, so I'm at 98, 99, and 100. Okay, so I'm gonna cut. I always cut too much, but I'm gonna cut a long tail. Now, this is the fun part. You get to purposely skip stitches. So, I'm taking myself a tapestry needle, whatever these are called. You know, the needle thingies. And I'm going to feed it my yarn onto it. And then take it off my tension guide and out of my yarn feeder. And I'm going to make sure that my last white pin catches it, which it does. And then I'm going to wait until the first black pin drops down. I'm going to take my needle, and this is the part I can't show you. There's these two little red teeth that the yarn hooks around, and that's where if it doesn't hook on there, it drops, and that's where you get your drop stitches. So I'm going to take my needle, and I'm actually going to, I wish I could show you this. I'm actually going to pick up that loop off of it, and it's now off the machine, but it's on here. And this is where the drop stitch part comes in. Just like the cast on, when you go every other one, I'm actually going to skip every other spot or peg or loop or stitch or whatever. This is why I'm not very good at it. Okay, so I'm going to skip the next one, the next loop, and I'm going to grab the third loop. So every odd number, so these are numbered, so every odd number I'm going to pick up that loop. So Marianne, don't go to 165 rows. Frog it off, try again, and only go to 100. So like I said, every other one or every odd number, you're going to pick up the loop. So I have to make sure that the pins drop down below the yarn before I can grab them. And I have to make sure that my teeth, my ones coming along, aren't grabbing my yarn, and I'm keeping it out of the way. This is the part I have to pay attention to. So welcome in, by the way, Marianne. Yes, Marianne, they can be frustrating, but I'm also one of those people where I get I get frustrated with stuff, and it's that frustration that goes, I'm too stubborn to let it win. Oh, you're not doing the drop stitch. Okay. Gotcha. Well, if it's making it to 165 rounds before it goes all batty, yes, you're like, okay, you went this far, why can't you keep going? Sometimes that's another clue that, your knitting machine doesn't like the yarn all that it thought it did. And Marianne, I would highly recommend, you know what, and I might send one of these to you, but these tension guides have been a game changer with my Addie. I'm telling you right now, like, yeah, I'm not even going to tell you which one it is. I mean, you'll probably be able to find it if you go search for it, but I think I might just have to send one to you because they are so worth the money. And they're worth the money for me to spend and send to you. I am, I don't know. I'm enjoying the cat's meow. Just for some reason, just the last few days, I've been in a mode where I just haven't been in a crochet mode. I've not necessarily lost my Crojo, I just haven't had Crojo. I've had Addie Joe. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Kimberly. It could be the yarn. And even other people that are more skilled at these have said that yarn will work, and then all of a sudden, like 30 rows in, it'll just be like, nope, I don't like you anymore. Yeah, Vivian, I get you. It's not gonna win. You're gonna win. You got this. So I'm still going around grabbing every other stitch or every other loop. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a stitch because knitting you have stitches too. I can understand that, Marianne. I feel like I want to make sure I got every other one here. I got that one, that one, that one, that one. Just for some reason, I'm making sure for some reason, I mean, it's too late at this point if I didn't, but I'm just trying to make sure I've been paying attention. Looks like I have. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, so now I am going to take my needle off because I don't need it on there now, but I'm going to hold on to my tail here. And actually, no, I'm going to drop it down there. I'm going to actually crank my knitting machine one more round around because it's still attached to the machine. Technically, it would have dropped it all by now, but because I was going every other one, it's still on the machine. So I'm going to grab my project from underneath. It's hard to show you guys. I'm grabbing it under here where my arm's at, right here. And I'm going to basically crank it around one more time, and you can see it's dropping off the machine now. All right, so now I'm going to just leave that end alone for now, and I'm going to move my way up to this end. So what I'm going to do now is untwist all this yarn here, because as it's working on the machine, they twist together. I'm going to put this working tail on my needle. Hello, Kimmy. Hello, hello. And then what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can show you. So the working yarn, oopsies, I dropped my needle, is right here, and it is coming from the direction of where I have, actually over here. It's coming from over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle, and I'm actually going to keep going the same direction that the yarn has gone around, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go, and if you see my white yarn, this is always opposite for me. So I have my white yarn. Did I do this right? Anyway, all right, so I have my white yarn here, and then right here. Then I have this blue here, and then I have my yellow, and then I have a white. So I'm actually going to go around and grab all these blue loops right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. And I'm actually going to go from the bottom up, and I'm going to pull these tails out of my way. Okay. From the bottom up, and I'm going to go all the way around and catch all of the blue loops from the bottom up. So I'm going to go all the way around. So you should have 46 of these. So I'm going to sit this down here because it's hard to hold it like that. So I'm going to keep going around and grabbing all the blue loops like that. from the bottom up. Just a minute. I'll try to keep watching the chat. This is easy enough to do, and I mean, I do have to look and see what I'm doing. I can't do this by feel necessarily. So by doing this, you're basically going to be able to cinch it up. Now, most of the time, like when you're making the beanies, you can do what I did every other, when I was doing, or when you're making beanies, sorry, let me rewind. You don't have to necessarily do waste yarn, and you can save yourself some time doing this. And you just start the beanie with your working yarn, and then you leave yourself a long enough tail, and then by the time you're done, you basically just take that tail and cinch it, and it becomes the beanie, part of the beanie, before you either make it a single layer beanie or you can do a double layer beanie. These drop stitch scarves are so fun. I want everyone to make them. What would you like buy, like if I were to sell them, like what could be a good selling price, Like I was thinking like 20. Oops. Get out of there. I am still live, Jonathan. Okay. Goodness. Almost done. I haven't even been on an hour yet. And yeah. I'm trying to get this tail around. It takes a minute. So I'm almost around, about a little over halfway. It just takes a minute for me to do this. I'm not a fast sewer, and this is kind of sewing. Ah, there we go. Yeah, because I love these are easy. Like look at that. Like in an hour I've made. Yeah, seriously. I don't yeah, I know that whole free word. Or you buy one get one free, but you charge, yeah, it's so people are always wanting to buy one to get that one free, even though they're not really technically saving a ton of money, right? Sometimes. I mean, sometimes you are. Or like buy one get one half off. I need to go back to Big Lots and see if they got yarn yet. Because they didn't have it the one time I went, but somebody said that their Big Lots didn't have it one week, but then they had it the next. Okay. All right, so I have made it all the way back around. Here comes the fun part. All right, so normally with this waste yarn, you could, find your tail and, pull it through that first round of loops, and then you can just frog it out. But the fun part about this, I call it a ripcord, this white one right here, the ripcord one. In about 5 seconds, I will have all this waste yarn off of here instead of frogging it all off. Check this out. So I'm going to squeeze it in half like this, and I'm going to find a loop, one of the white loops over here. Let me get my needle. Okay, it's going to take a little more than 5 seconds with me explaining it, but I'm going to find that white loop like that, and I'm actually going to pull it and pinch the work with my other hand like this. I'm going to pull the white one completely out. It takes a few seconds. Okay, the white's all out of there now. Okay, watch this. Look, it's still attached. Oh no! It literally just whoop, and it's off. Isn't that cool? Like I didn't have to sit there and frog it all out. Now, if I to go and use it again as waste yarn, I will have to frog it all out. Now, the next fun part is I am going to, so this is how you make beanies, you just cinch up the end like this, and that's why you don't have to do the waist yarn. You just, and you wouldn't have to you wouldn't have to pick up all those stitches either with beanies, because you just basically just leave yourself a long tail and cinch it closed. So I'm not going to do anything with it just yet. I'm going to just leave it like this. And then I'm actually going to come to the other end. My tail made its way through the tube, so I'm going to pull it out. All right, move my waist yarn out of the way. I need to make some room, so I have room to do this. Okay, so you're going to see that it's looking a little messy up here, right? You just witnessed magic. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cinch up this end. Make sure you flip these down in there. And you're going to see all those bumps. Those are the drop stitches on purpose. Check this out. Watch. See how it's already starting to pull? Here's some more magic for you. Watch. I got to keep it in the frame here. This is like my favorite part of making these. Like, I'm literally dropping stitches on purpose. And you see how long this is right now? This is all undropped right now, this here. But I'm going to pull it, and it keeps getting longer and longer. But because my arm is, I'm all the way up here, so I gotta pull it down here so I can keep showing you guys. It's so fun. Yeah. And it feels so weird when you do it, Marianne. But you just keep going, and it's still growing. I still got about that much left to drop. And a lot of times it helps to go like this too. Stretch it out that way, and it goes a little faster. So it's still got just a couple more inches. I'm going to do this down here just because it's getting a little harder to show you. But you just keep pulling until they all get dropped. It's in my way. The last part is, a little finicky because you just got to get in there and make sure you get them all pulled, which I still have a couple. You can kind of see the bumps in there, which you could loosen it up a little bit. Loosen this up, the cinching, and make sure you pull all the stitches down and make it look pretty. Just make sure you hold on to this so it doesn't come out. All right, almost there. This one right here by the tail is being silly. Okay. All right, and now I'm gonna take, and I'm actually gonna cinch both ends and tie them, like, tie them off to like a knot like you normally do. And I will show you what I do next. These drop stitch scarves, I tell you what, they're fun, and you can get them done in about, 45 minutes or so. So like I said, I'm just gonna basically just, I don't know, just knot it. So just, just do like that. Maybe 1 or 2 times. Just like you normally do when you finish off a work. And then I gotta go to the other, look, this is how long it got. It's like, I keep going the wrong way. It got long. Okay, so now I gotta do the other end. It is addicting. And because I don't need all of this, I'm going to cut this shorter just to work with it better. So that's where some more waste comes in. I'm going to put my needle on. Now, I don't do it like they do in the movies. Good grief. In the other, you know, video tutorials. I knot them together at the end. Yes, it did. It tripled right before your eyes. It's magic. Okay. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just finishing off this end. And then all I do is one, I make sure that my scarf is not twisted and that it's laying the same direction. So I don't have any twist in it. And I take my two ends, my two tails, and I literally knot them together. And I use a surgeon's knot, I guess. I will take to kind of butt these up a little bit better. I will take my needle and feed it through just to get them to, you know, meet up a little bit better. But my first initial one, I just use a quick little knot to pull them together. Sorry, I'm not paying attention at the moment. Now I'm going to take one end and you can kind of see how it's only tied on one side of the area right here. I'm going to take this tail. I'm going to get the other one out of the way. Hold on. There we go. And I'm going to grab the other side of this hole from the one end, feed my needle through there, and then I'm going to grab the other side, make sure it's not twisting. I'm going to grab the other side here, go up through there like that, just grabbing a couple strands. Mommy life coming to fruition right here. I'm going to take this other end. I got to feed it over to the other side. So that I can knot them together. I'm going to go the opposite way so that way I come from different directions. So that way my tail is now, this would make more sense if you could see it better. Now I'm going to tie them more. And just keep them tight. Make a surgeon's knot. I wrap it over twice. I feel like, I don't know, I call this the surgeon's knot. Oop, don't break it. And then I go right over left with one single knot. And then I take both strands. I'm going to make them a little shorter just so I can sew with them. And I'm going to feed them onto my needle. And I'm going to basically take it and do that whole back and forth 3 times thing like, you know, you do with crochet, just to, as a added secure, you know, secure the end here. And just to kind of get rid of some of the tails, but leave a tail. That's tight for some reason. Oof. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So I'm going to go back and forth about 3 times, but, you know, kind of wiggling it through there. Getting, catching yarn, you know, splitting yarn and stuff. Oh, it's tight. I got it tight, y'all. The needle does not want to go through there. There we go. That's okay though. I'd rather it be tight than come undone. All right, one more time. And then I just feed it through. And I will cut this as close without cutting anything else. And y'all, just like that, in 1 hour, I have completed. Hello, Raylene. It's a little hard right here, but again, this is going to sit on the back of your neck. And just like that, hold on. My magic doesn't work very quickly. Ugh, wrong way. I go the wrong way on StreamYard all the time. Just like that. The scarf is done. Here, I'll put it on. You can see it on me. Here, I'm going to turn myself a little bit there. I love this color. Like, and they're so soft and look airy, but still give you a little bit of warmth around your neck. So, and you can, you can twist it so it does different things. I mean, hello, we're about to get off here. My children have reached their max limit of leaving me alone, and it's lunchtime. So, I hope you guys enjoyed me watching me do this. I do have several of these available. I will have to take pictures of them and I will post them in my community tab for people. I'm thinking I think $20 is asking a good amount for these scarves. I mean, if you were to buy this in the store, you'd be spending at least $25 on a non-handmade item, So, isn't that cool? Like, I love it. They're so much fun to make and they're so soft. And y'all look, I made one scarf and I still have at least another scarf worth of yarn. I could make another one. So, or I can make a matching beanie. I might be able to make a beanie out of that. Maybe. So, I'm gonna get off here, y'all. I had fun. I hope you did too. And let me know. Do I make a beanie or another scarf to sell? Because I could do it as a set, a beanie and scarf set. Let me know. And I will see you guys on my next video or live. Thank you guys for coming and have a great day. Don't forget, be kind and positive and go make something beautiful. I see you, Vivian. So, I will make sure I note Vivian said beanie. So, thanks, Marianne. I like that idea. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Bye.